everyone, it is me, your Ukrainian teacher Oля here. You are welcome, as always, to my channel. In this video, we are going to talk about a very commonly used Ukrainian word yak and its multiple meanings. Because yes, it has a few of them. But before we get to start, a quick question. Do you hear me any better this time? Because for this video, for the first time, I'm using this brand new microphone that I had to borrow from one of my friends. So yeah, because I'm always excited to provide you with the content of the best quality, and I realize that I don't always manage to do that. So whenever it happens, it makes me super happy. So please do let me know. And also, as well, traditionally, thanking everybody who keeps supporting my channel on Patreon, even though I haven't been producing content for a while now, and that is a horrible situation which I'm trying to fix right now. So thank you everybody for understanding. And also, if you are new to my channel and would like to support it, you can do that. I will leave the link to my Patreon as well as the links to all of my other social media down below. And now we can finally start learning. So I am sure that for most of you, whenever you hear the word yak in Ukrainian, the first thing that comes to mind as a translation is how, right? As a question word. That is some of the very first things you learn as a Ukrainian learner. For instance, як ти or як справи means how are you, right? Як ти means exactly how are you, because ти means you, so як ти means how are you, right? Because we tend to omit the verb to be in the present tense. Як справи rather means how are the things, right? So як справи, also a way to ask how are you. Another instance, як життя, як життя, життя means life, so that means how is life, як життя. Another instance, як це, я не розумію, як це, я не розумію. How is that? I don't understand, right? So in English we say how is that? In Ukrainian, if we had to translate it literally, we would say how is this, right? Як це, because це means this, right? So як це? How's that? Я не розумію. I don't understand. Okay? Another instance. Як це зробити? Як це зробити? So literally it means how this, and зробити means to do, okay? So how is it done, or how can one do it, or how do I do it, right? Як це зробити? Як це зробити? Again, як here means how. Another instance, let's get a bit more emotional, a bit dramatic. Як ти смієш? Як ти смієш? How dare you, right? How dare you say something like that? Як ти смієш таке казати? Okay? Як ти смієш таке робити? How dare you do this? Another instance. Як ти міг? Як ти міг? If you are addressing a male person. Or як ти могла? Як ти могла? Meaning, how could you? Again, to try and make somebody else feel very guilty. How could you do this? Як ти міг це зробити? Or як ти могла? How could you це сказати? Say this. Okay? Another instance. Як пройшов твій день? Як пройшов твій день? Again, because many of you are asking me for literal translations. So, як means how. Пройшов means have passed, right? Твій means your, and день means day. So, how did your day pass, right? Or how was your day if we use normal English. So, point number 2. We can also say як, meaning how, but if we aren't using it as a question word, right? When we say how and we mean the way, right? The way something is happening. Or the way something's done, right? That's how it's done. Let's take a look at some instances so we have a better understanding of what I'm talking about. Okay? Я знаю, як це зробити. Я знаю, як це зробити. Я знаю means I know. Як means how. Те means it, and зробити means to do. Okay? So that means I know how to do it. Again, we used як as how here, but we didn't ask any questions, right? So we can say I know the way to do it, right? Я знаю, як це зробити. Or we could say I know how to do it. Another instance, sentence number 2. Він не міг згадати, як її звати. Він не міг згадати, як її звати. And now I'm encouraging you to pay attention to meaning number 3 of the word як in Ukrainian, which is so. Okay? But what kind of so? What kind of sentence can we build with that structure, and when, in what cases do we use a structure like that? Okay? So usually, normally, it would be followed by an adverb. And an adverb is something like an adjective for a noun, but it is for a verb, right? It is a part of speech that describes the verb, okay? So usually, normally a sentence, or very often a sentence like that would be with an exclamation mark, and we would use it to express our excitement or amusement or our surprise at how something is being done, okay, or how something is happening. To say, wow, that happened so fast, right? Or wow, you did it so well, and things like that. So let's take a look at some instances in Ukrainian for our better understanding. Number 1 being як темно тут. Як темно тут. Okay? So again, our adverb here is темно, means dark, and тут means here. So як темно тут means it is so dark here. Right? So like, what a dark place. Як темно тут. It's so dark here. We didn't expect that. Okay? Another instance. Як швидко ти прочитала? Молодець. Як швидко ти прочитала? Молодець. Again, our adverb here is швидко. Швидко means fast or quickly. Ти means you, and прочитала means have read or read. And that is a feminine form of the verb, okay? Masculine would be прочитав, okay? Feminine прочитала. So if you are addressing a female person, you say прочитала. Молодець. Молодець is a way to encourage somebody. Something like, well done, good job, okay? Молодець. So, як швидко ти прочитала? Wow, like, yeah, wow, you read it so fast. Well done. Як швидко ти прочитала? Молодець. Number 3. Як гарно ви співаєте? Як гарно ви співаєте? Okay, so our adverb here is гарно. Ви means you, plural, or just a polite form of you, the formal form of you. Співаєте, sing, plural, or formal, okay? So, як гарно ви співаєте? You sing so beautifully. Our adverb here is гарно, means beautifully. Another instance, number 4. Як тихо сьогодні на дворі? Як тихо сьогодні на дворі? It is so quiet outside today. Okay, so our adverb here is тихо. Okay, so як тихо means so quiet. Сьогодні means today, and на дворі means outside. Okay, so як тихо сьогодні на дворі means it is so quiet outside today. And the last one, for number 3. Як вчасно ти приїхала? Як вчасно ти приїхала? You arrived so on time. So our adverb here is вчасно. Вчасно. Вчасно means on time as an adverb. Ти means you, and приїхала means came or arrived. Again, a feminine form of the verb. The masculine would be приїхав, як вчасно ти приїхав, okay? Як вчасно ти приїхала means you arrived so on time. So another couple of minutes and that would be too late. So I'm super happy about you being on time. Як вчасно ти приїхала. Okay? Moving on to number 4. So in Ukrainian we could say як when we mean to say as or like when we compare things, because that's when we use words like as or like. Let's take a look at some instances. Він був красивий, як принц. Він був красивий, як принц. Okay, so він, he, був, was, красивий, handsome, як, as or like, prince. Prince meaning prince, okay? So to say that someone, he was as handsome as a prince or he was handsome like a prince, we would say він був красивий, як принц, okay? So as a prince or like a prince would be як принц in Ukrainian. Another instance. Коли виросту, я хочу бути як ти. Коли виросту, я хочу бути як ти. So, коли, when, виросту means I grow up. I хочу бути, want to be, як ти, like you. So, when I grow up, I want to be like you. Okay, so again, як ти, like you, okay? Or let's be more specific and say, коли виросту, я хочу бути таким же високим, як ти, okay? So when I grow up, I want to be as tall as you. Or коли виросту, я хочу бути таким же розумним, як ти. When I grow up, I want to be as smart as you, right? Розумним, smart. Or when I grow up, I want to be as kind as you are. Коли виросту, я хочу бути таким же добрим, як ти. Okay? Another instance. Ти поводишся як дурень. Ти поводишся як дурень. Okay? So, ти means you. Поводишся means behave or act. Як, like. Дурень means a fool. Okay? So, you are acting like a fool or you behave as a fool. Ти поводишся як дурень. So, as a fool or like a fool means як дурень. And that is one good way to use like in Ukrainian. And the last instance, ми з Оксаною завжди були як сестри. Ми з Оксаною завжди були як сестри. So many people are having like problems understanding this structure. So in Ukrainian we usually wouldn't say I and Oksana. Я і Оксана завжди були як сестри. We could, but usually we would say ми з Оксаною, meaning I and Oksana. So we say we, ми, with Oksana. We with Oksana, meaning I and Oksana. Okay? Well, that's how we say things. So, ми з Оксаною завжди були як сестри. I and Oksana, or me and Oksana, завжди, always, були, were, як сестри, like sisters. Okay? So, ми з Оксаною завжди були як сестри. So, як сестри, like sisters, or as close as sisters, близькі як сестри. Like sisters, as sisters in Ukrainian, як сестри. Okay? Moving on to the next point. So, number 5 is actually the reason I'm filming this entire video. Because in my previous one, the one where I was breaking down the poem of Taras Shevchenko, Заповіт, Testament, the first line of that poem says, як умру, то поховайте. And I said that in this case, як doesn't mean how, but it means if. or rather even when. Okay, so I had a question, a request about this one in the comments, and that's my response to that comment. So in Ukrainian, we can use jak, meaning if or when in a conditional sentence, right? So what is a conditional sentence? It is the kind of sentence that says, if this happens, then that happens, okay? If this, then, okay? Sort of gives us a condition, the circumstances under which this other thing can happen. So usually in Ukrainian, for conditional sentences, we would say якщо, okay? Якщо directly, exactly means if. But we can also use як just as well instead, okay? So again, I would rather use якщо for formal standard situations, but if we have some sort of fictional book, or we are having just a conversation using spoken Ukrainian, then як works just as well. So again, this very first instance that I mentioned before, як умру, то поховайте. Як умру means when I die. То поховайте, then bury me, of course. Who else? The one who's dead, right? So як умру, то поховайте. When I die, bury me. Number 2, як не одне, то інше. Як не одне, то інше. Як не одне, if not one thing, то інше, then the other. And that is a way to answer maybe a question, how are you? That's a way to say that there is a lot going on in my life, right? If not one thing, then the other thing keeps me busy, okay? So I have lots of stuff to think about or to worry about. Як не одне, то інше. How are you? Як справи? Не питай. Don't ask. Як не одне, то інше. If not one thing, then the other. A lot is going on in my life, okay? Number 3. Як не хочеш, то й не треба. Як не хочеш, то й не треба. So, як не хочеш means if you don't want, то й не треба. Well, then there's no need, okay? Не треба means no need. So if you don't want, then no need, right? If you are going to do something unwillingly, then don't do it whatsoever, okay? Як не хочеш, то й не треба. Another instance. Як не зможете завтра, приходьте у вівторок. Як не зможете завтра, приходьте у вівторок. Let's translate that one. Як не зможете, if you cannot, or if you can't, завтра, tomorrow, so if you can't tomorrow, приходьте, come, у вівторок, on Tuesday. So if you cannot tomorrow, come on Tuesday. Як не зможете завтра, приходьте у вівторок. Or we can say, якщо не зможете завтра, приходьте у вівторок, right? Another instance, як захоче, сама прийде. Як захоче means if, wants. Сама прийде. Сама means by herself. Прийде means come, okay? So, like, no need to beg her to come to and visit you or things like that. If she wants to, then she will come by herself. Okay, so when she wants to or if she wants to, як захоче, сама прийде. She will come. Okay, or we could just as well say, якщо захоче, сама прийде. Meaning if. And the final point of our today's video is then. Another meaning for як. So we could use як and mean then when we compare things. Because that's when we use then, right? When we compare things. So usually, normally, most often in Ukrainian, we would use the word ніж. Ніж means then. That's the best, the most precise translation in Ukrainian. For then, in Ukrainian, but sometimes if we feel like that, we can use як instead. So, for instance, ніхто не заспіває краще, як ми. Ніхто не заспіває краще, як ми. Ніхто means nobody. Не заспіває means will sing. Краще means better, як ми, than us. Okay, so nobody will sing better than us, or nobody could possibly, right, sing better than us. Ніхто не заспіває краще, як ми. We are the best singers in the neighborhood, okay? Next. Я не знаю людини розумнішої, як твій брат. Я не знаю людини розумнішої, як твій брат. Я не знаю means I don't know людини, a person, розумнішої, smarter, як твій брат, than your brother, okay? We could say, я не знаю людини розумнішої, ніж твій брат, but we could say, як твій брат as well, meaning than your brother. I don't know a person smarter than your brother. And another instance, ніде йому не було краще, як вдома. Ніде йому не було краще, як вдома. Ніде means nowhere, like nowhere else. Йому, to him, не було means wasn't. Краще means better, як вдома, than at home, right? So if we want to translate it into normal English, we would say no other place felt better to him than home, okay? So краще, як вдома means better than home or better than at home. Okay? And the very last sentence we are going to take a look at today is ми чекали не більше, як півгодини. Ми чекали не більше, як півгодини. Ми чекали means we waited. Не більше, not more, не більше, як півгодини, than half an hour. Okay, so we've been waiting no more than, or we've been waiting for no more than a half an hour. Okay? So, or we could just say, ми чекали не більше, ніж півгодини. Okay, because in that case, ніж and як have same. Because in this particular case, ніж and як are synonyms, the words that carry similar meaning. That's it. If you still have any questions, do not hesitate and write them down below in the comments. You see, your comments are inspiring me to film more videos, and that is wonderful. And also, traditionally, if you enjoyed this video, do not forget to give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you didn't. Also, do not forget to subscribe to my channel so that we can learn Ukrainian together, and I will see you in my next video, hopefully very soon. Bye!